Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Boruto Anime episode review. This one's going to be for episode 51, which is called Boruto's Birthday. And this was a really good episode because I think for one of the first times it really felt like, okay, this is them really heavily setting up the movie arc and stuff like that. This felt like whatever we're dealing with in the next couple of episodes is absolutely a lead-in, what happened before, kind of prequel to the movie. Because I think something I've mentioned in a lot of my reviews so far, having touched on all of the episodes so far, has been, like, they've been doing good stuff with Boruto. I think he's a very likable character, but they've almost gone so far down making him likable that it almost makes me kind of go like, how are they going to get to the point where he is the way he is in the movie? It feels like they're going to have to make such a sudden shift with the character to make that happen. But here, I feel like they started it. Like Naruto not turning up for Boruto's birthday, which is obviously just like a week or two before Himawari's birthday, which is what happens in the movie. That kind of, I think, starts it. Him making that promise with Naruto later on in the episode about, I don't care that you weren't at my birthday, but you need to promise me, make sure that above everything else you are at her birthday, because she's still small and she wants you there. And because Boruto and Himawari have such a good relationship, it was such a nice moment, but it sets up completely why there's so much, I suppose, emotion behind that scene and why it really is such an intense scene in the movie and manga when that happens. In that, even like Hinata's reaction in the movie, like you have extra context to that now, because everyone who was at Boruto's party, Sarada, Mitsuki, they were all aware that, like, oh, Boruto must be feeling pretty bad about Naruto not showing up. And then it happening the exact same way at Himawari's birthday, you get where it comes from. So I thought that was a really good aspect of this episode that I thought was a kind of perfect kind of lead into the stuff that happens in the movie. What else do we get here? I suppose the stuff at the end of the episode was also further setup of the continued mention of Kaguya Otsutsuki, the kind of temples towards her, kind of setting up the idea of the other Otsutsukis, which is obviously a key plot point going into the rest of the movie arc once again. And especially just that, like, oh wait, Boruto was kind of a little bit, to a degree, involved in this prior to all of that happening. Obviously they're setting up the idea that they're kind of searching for, is there still any remnants of any sort of a larger White Zetsu army? And that's exactly what Konohamaru and his team come across on their mission, which initially is just to try and capture these thieves who kind of robbed the train, basically. And they run off into a mine, but they are taken out by this, what's eventually revealed to be the White Zetsu. And our team comes across them later in the episode, and that's the big fight that we're setting up for next time out, with the setup in the preview that this is going to be the hint of Sasuke is on his way back, which is obviously something that happens in the movie. So this is cool, and it really feels like this was the episode that was like, okay, this is linking kind of everything together, the series to the movie, and we can sort of see the path we're heading on now. We're probably going to get a very big movie arc in the anime, with all the extra expansions that we've been kind of looking for, connecting up all the Otsutsuki stuff, giving extra context to Boruto now that we sort of know that he doesn't just have this seal from the kind of manga that they set up, that they have right now, but he also has the eye power that he has in the anime, and how both of those maybe work together. We have all the new teams heading into the tuning exams that we didn't have or didn't know about by the time of the movie. There's a lot they can do here. They just want to really get that movie arc right, and especially I think using like Katasuke again, of like, here's someone that Boruto actually goes to because it's like an adult who respects him. And this was the other aspect of Boruto in this episode that I thought was very well done, to, I think, again, sort of further set up some of the stuff Boruto goes through in the movie, of just the sort of the way other people see him, and like the expectations he sort of has for himself, of trying to prove himself as being skilled, being respected by adults, and not just being treated as a kid, but not getting that respect just because he's Naruto's son. He hates that people are like jealous of him, and they always use that excuse of like, but of course it makes sense, he's the Hokage's son, when we all know, like, the truth is that he is one of, if not the most skilled member of this current class of genin, who themselves are an amazing bunch of kind of young ninja, and they've, like, all the teachers and stuff like that, they've said that Boruto is this amazing prodigy, that he pretty much is the best of the group, and that makes him actually, like, above Naruto's level at this point, because obviously Naruto wasn't particularly amazing at this point in time, like heading into kind of tuning exam type thing. He still had a lot of growth to do, whereas Boruto feels like he's almost tuning level right now, maybe a little bit above that, but he's not getting that respect because it's all being sort of diminished, kind of due to kind of like, just, I'm Naruto's son. And this, plus the stuff with his birthday, with Himawari's birthday coming up, this explains that kind of very bad situation that ends up happening in the movie. And it's always, I think, been the case where, like, I think Boruto gets that Naruto's busy, that the Hokage is a tough position, but what the point the movie is making is that there's a sort of a good reason for why Naruto, like, isn't home as much, or like why he misses out on some important things, that he has to protect the village, and that is a very important thing. And it's obviously in the movie that moment of Naruto showing his, like, complete power as he, like, defends everyone in the entire arena from the Otsutsukis and makes that sacrifice, which is the thing that really shifts Boruto, admittedly thanks to Sasuke, to get to the point where obviously he kind of makes the kind of heroic move, and he's sort of Sasuke gives him his kind of headband and stuff like that. So I praise this episode a lot because I felt that they did a job that I was kind of wondering, like, they're going to have like a full arc to get Boruto into the position where, like, he is for the movie, whereas I feel it's almost more or less done. I feel we might see maybe a little bit of more, like, Boruto finding some slight issues with his father or something like that. Something happening, or something that further potentially lowers his confidence. I think the only other thing that they might need to get to is just perhaps why he feels the need to cheat. I think part of it is that he actually trusts Katasuke a lot, which I think helps to explain it to a degree. But I suppose his power, I suppose, will be an interesting thing. Part of that actually could be the Katasuke giving him his birthday present here of this kind of scientific ninja tool, but that's not given any explanation. I assume Boruto may use that in the fight against the Zetsu, and it might be very important. And this may lead Boruto to maybe over-rely on ninja tools. That's why he jumps on using the next one that Katasuke recommends to him in the tuning exams. So I think they're doing a very good job here. I'm very interested to see how many, like, episodes we are before we hit the movie stuff itself, when we see Sasuke properly make his entrance, because they're teasing in the preview that, like, they come across Amaterasu, which obviously it means Sasuke, and stuff like that, in that it's called Sasuke's shadow. So it's just like, oh, he's around researching this, because we know that the start of the movie is kind of more or less Sasuke encountering the other Otsutsuki guy, and then kind of returning back to the village. So I can't see them doing too many more episodes before we hit the movie. Obviously, like, 52 is, like, obviously 2 times 26, which is usually, like, the season length of anime. and because this is like a really ongoing one, it kind of goes all year round. I don't know how much that really impacts it, but obviously I think we'll probably be expecting a new opening at some point fairly soon, and like the start of, I suppose, technically Boruto season 3 with something like episode 53. It would sort of make sense to just have it start off with the kind of movie arc, but I don't know really how much they're sticking to the whole 26 episode is a season thing. But yeah, a lot of great moments. I really liked seeing like Sakura just kind of being in Naruto's house, you know, Sarada being with her, and then like her being like, "Whoa, Mitsuki, you're already here," because that was like, that felt like, oh, Mitsuki actually comes over to the house a little bit more, because we saw in a previous episode of the anime Mitsuki coming over for the first time, and kind of Naruto having a kind of like, oh, it's Mitsuki, he's here in our house, he's actually progressing quite well, that sort of moment, and now he's just their friend. The preview also with Mitsuki kind of hinted at like Konohamaru like walking away from him. I suppose this potentially begs the question of like, does Mitsuki have to do something against the White Zetsu? Does the Orochimaru connection come up, and the whole you know, all that kind of history type stuff? I'm not sure about it. It could just be like a dramatic shot that maybe it's Konohamaru doing something more so than Mitsuki doing something. Other than that, I think it was just a really good episode, in that like there wasn't any like, I think, big like action moment as such in this episode, because they were just setting up the action at the end. So there was no big like amazing animation moments, but it was just such a good character plot progression episode, connecting things together, that I definitely think is worth the kind of praise that it's worth having there. And then, even though I've been talking about, I suppose, the issues between Naruto and Boruto, just little things like Naruto coming home and he's bought Boruto a present. He leaves the message there, and Boruto's frustrated, but he also, to a degree, appreciates and can't bring himself to be like overly angry at Naruto because he did leave the present, was sorry about it. And I think that shows like a fundamental deep down understanding from Boruto of the position that his father is in. I think the bigger note would be like Naruto and Hinata, that moment of kind of him saying that like, I got him a present, I don't know what game he likes. It kind of shows that like he hasn't been around them as much, and as Hinata says, she knows the two of them have this strong connection deep down. It's just that some of that stuff of like, Naruto, does he know exactly what Boruto's hobbies are and stuff like that, and that's where sort of Katasuke is sort of coming in, as like Katasuke is aware of like Boruto's hobby, what games he plays and stuff like that. Naruto is sort of like missing out on that a bit. So there's a lot of, I thought there was a lot of depth to the relationships in this episode, but yeah, that's my thoughts on this episode of Boruto. But yeah, in the comments, let me know what your thoughts were on the episode. But yeah, that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.